Welcome to Nkanizatu, the pod that tells indigenous stories every day, the platform that tells you what's good and what's odd for young people and elderly alike in the areas of art, history, and culture preservation. And now your host, Rina Kasongo.
Welcome back to another exciting conversation on Nkanizatu. Nkanizatu, the program that is brought to you with courtesy of Software and Publishers. This is a platform where we share everything that has to do with indigenous stories, captivating stories that speak to our culture and to our lifestyle. Today I'm privileged, I'm your host, Sidney Mponda. I'm privileged to host Dr. Fredrick Chitangala. Now, is an interesting personality that we are going to learn and appreciate insights from, because he is coming from the point of a professional sports administrator, as well as this is the man who is trending as an actor in Mpali, the Zambian telenovela that we are enjoying in our homes. Doctor, welcome to this episode.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. Yeah.
Great. So, how are you feeling, Bashi Mwanida? So in the episode that the man is sick.
I'm better.
Okay.
I'm better. Getting there. You know how it is with a kidney, you know. You can't be 100% fine. Yeah.
You don't put it in time.
Good enough to work.
Okay.
Yeah, good enough to work, good enough to be functional and productive, but out of danger.
Okay. That's the best part. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do this something very quickly. Tell me 3 things, of which 2 have to be lies, and then I will need to guess what would be the truth of the 3 things they're going to say.
I'll tell you the 3 things, but let me be the one to determine how many lies and how many truths are there. So I leave it for you. But one thing I can confess is that I'm not very good at lying. Okay, let me tell you one thing. I've got 5 children. Okay, 2 outside marriage and 3 with my wife. Then I am a black belt karateka. When I was younger, I don't do that much now because I can break my bones. I have climbed the tallest viewing point on Earth in Hawaii. Second tallest viewing point, like maybe 4 or 5 kilometers up the hill. So yes, tell us which one is true, which one is lies, or if you thought all of them are true.
I think black belt. I'll go for that one. If not,
So what about black belt? Is it a truth or it's a lie?
I think that's the truth that you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's
I still look fit, huh?
Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so Mr.
No. Which one is a lie?
Which one is a lie? I think the first one.
How?
Okay, anyway, we'll pick it up as it were. Okay, so Mr. Chitangala, let's start by diving in your personal journey.
Yeah.
Just tell us and the listener there and the viewer, those who are following us on YouTube, your roots.
I was born in now what is called Muchinga. All of it was called Northern Province then, the early 70s. And I was born there, grew up there, got educated from primary school to secondary school right in Muchinga. In fact, I finished my grade 12 at Isoka Secondary School. Having spent all my life in Mpika and Chinsali, I had never visited any town before that, except Mpika and the whatever towns are there. But I'd never been to Kawa, never been to Kopabe, I'd never been to Lusaka before that. So when I qualified to get into university, that was the first time I was coming to university. I mean to Lusaka, to see town. Oh, so this is how Lusaka looks like. So you see what brains can do. They can take you places. Eh?
That sounds
yeah. So without education, I don't know where I could have been by now. So that's where I come from. My mother is Bemba from Kasama. My father is Bemba Bisa from Chinsali, Chief Sakunda's area. So I'm Bemba by tribe.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, that's awesome to hear. So at the time you were at Isoka,
Mm-hmm.
was still the library that is the library that is there with Saint Camp David Chinsari boys.
The soccer boys will ever be soccer boys. The Orange,
Yeah.
we used to call it, the most famous school as far as morale boosting for our teams, sports teams, is concerned. That was it. That's where this young man, the musician, the one who sings most posterity music, Muzegeta, he was leading a lot of morale boosting for our teams there. There's definitely an ongoing this rivalry is still there. Kenneth Kaunda, Nikasama, the rivalry will never, because we want to always say we are the best. Our school is the best. They also say our school is the best. So when we meet for sports or for anything, there's a fight.
Okay, so Kasama boys claims they won St. Teresa, and you said Isoka and St. Chinsari, you think you won Witikira?
Well, we won the Chinsari girls. We won the Mwenzo girls. They just won one school.
Interesting. That depicts what our society is like.
Yeah.
Yeah, as it were. Okay. Then quickly, just from that Chimera, from Isoka University, and somebody may want to know, how did you come to the level of now acting? We just saw you there with now.
Yeah, and this is what a lot of people don't know, and I think maybe through your platform, people can know about me. I didn't start acting for the first time on Mpali. No, that's a very big mistake. You don't just start acting for the first time at this age and execute the way what you see is. That's not possible unless you've been exposed before. I was a very active dramatist from childhood. By the way, you won't believe this. I even participated in cultural dances when in primary school. When I went to the boarding school at Isoka, that's when I became very actively involved in both the school drama group and the anti-AIDS drama group. I was in two drama groups at the same time. At one point, I almost got expelled from school for drama, because we went to act at Mwenzo Girls Secondary School without what the headmaster said, lack of permission from him. So we went illegally to act.
He had no consent.
He didn't give consent, but his staffer, who is the patron of the drama group, gave consent. And that was our argument, and that's how we survived.
Did you have something controversial?
We didn't even act. We traveled to Mwenzo, and then the girls were waiting for us, And so when we arrived there, the headmaster sent word to his counterpart in Mwenzo that don't allow them to act because they didn't get my permission. And we were hoping to raise some money there to use it for transport back. So meaning we had no transport to come back with to Isoka. So we hacked. And the following Monday, we were undergoing for 1 week a disciplinary hearing until after 1 week Monday assembly. Then we heard that because the patron allowed us, then it means that the headmaster also allowed us. That's how we survived that. But I was also a very active and very good newsreader.
Okay.
I was part of the school press club. I even won an award for being one of the best newsreaders. Yeah. So in terms of media, I think it has been on me from childhood. So when I came into Lusaka, university life is not your friend. So I didn't do acting at Unza until I finished. When I finished Unza, I joined an NGO, and immediately I was privileged to know that Movie TV was beginning a station.
Yeah.
From movie studio to movie TV, and we produced and also acted some of the first ever productions that ever aired on TV before even Banjas came on. Those who are watching movie TV would remember watching a play called Backfire, another one, A House Divided, and a few other just skits that we showed on TV. Yeah, so that was it. Then acting wasn't paying. Then I did a lot of play theater as well. When I started work at Playhouse as well as in churches, and then I said, so why should I focus on something which is not feeding me? Yeah. So I stopped, concentrated on developing my career. I did a bachelor's degree in psychology and education at UNZA. Joined an NGO. After working for 3 years or so, I enrolled back at University of Zambia School of Medicine, where I got a master's degree in public health. And then I started going back to school every time I finished one. So until I became...
Is education that addictive?
Yeah, sometimes I just want to achieve something until I got a doctorate. Yeah, as we in public health. Now I do have a PhD in sports marketing, as well as another master's degree in sports administration. 2-3 years ago, I met some people who are in the acting industry who remember that I used to act. And they were like, so why don't you act? I said, during our time, it wasn't paying. Now it's okay, it's paying. You can see actors driving, you can see actors looking nice, you can see that they're making some money. Not a lot, as they would want to, but they're making some money. And I said, you should consider coming back. I said, yeah, I will, maybe given an opportunity, I can. But I have a whole institution to manage as the chief executive officer of OITC.
Yeah.
That's not easy, So the time passes, and then somebody calls me. Nancy Andavile is a producer, but she was also acting on and directing in Mpali. So she calls me, and she didn't know me. She just said, I'm afraid somebody has recommended you to act in my pilot production, which I want to submit to Zambia's Magic. I said, oh, okay, that's interesting. And I was following her, so I liked her work. So I said, it'd be nice to act for Nancy. So I went, I acted, and the day we were finishing the acting, I received a call from Mpali.
Okay.
We have a role for you, and the role used to be the father to Mwanida, the father that I never saw the daughter to Mwanida. It will not take long. You act, you appear, introduce yourself to her. You are the one who gave her the kidney when she was sick. You paid for hospital bills, and then she would deny you, and Ngozi will chase you. That's the end of your appearance on Mpali. I said, okay, that's okay. I can handle that because I've got a full-time job.
Yeah.
I can't manage to be coming for acting every day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did my first episode, second episode, third episode. I was to convince Mwiza to convince Mwanida and so that she comes to me as a father. And then they both refuse. Then I forced myself at the farm. And that's where we had the first fight with the mighty Ngozi, the lion himself. And for the first time, people thought they finally found a match for Mr. Ngozi.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a real fight that we forgot about the lines. We just got into this character, and the channel loved it so much. They had to ask Frank Subuku. So how much time does he have on Mpali? He said, no, that was the last appearance. I said, are you joking? You can't throw that talent away.
Yeah.
Yes, he needs to be around. And that's how I stayed on Mpali. But I appreciate the fact that they still recognize that I have got a job where I do a full-time job. So they don't give me roles every day because this thing is going to suffer. OITC. Yeah. So the story will change, will shift. When it shifts to me, then I start getting one leave day per week. I go and act whatever is waiting for me. Next week I do the same. When the sequence is done, I go back to my office.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
And the characters just that you have demonstrated, and of course it's still this. Still the CEO type.
Yeah.
Still the CEO type. Yeah, but then people just bring out. Just want to find out something from you. Do you sit to watch yourself with the family, and how do they react?
Mpali is Mpali.
Mpali.
In fact, majority of the decoders in Zambia and Malawi tuned to Zambia's Magic when it's time for Mpali.
Yeah.
I can confirm that. And for that size of a show, you must be proud that you are on it, and therefore sometimes watch yourself and just assess yourself. How are you performing? Did you make a mistake that you shouldn't have made? and learn from the mistakes, actual mistakes on the screen. And then is there some editing error that maybe editors made? You take a screenshot, you send to them and say, hey guys, you should have done this. That's allowed. So yes, I do watch myself with my phone. I do have a TV in my bedroom. And sometimes kids are excited to see daddy when I began.
Yeah.
But now it's just, okay, it's not bad. Even my children just say, oh, it's not bad. He's sick. Hey. No, and then they even forgot that's the father. That's you. I'm not Albert, I'm your father. You know. Yeah.
That is interesting. So they are calling you Albert because they are seeing you on the screen.
Yes.
You want them to show that the father is here.
Yeah, but also the one thing I love about acting is that sometimes it also gives an opportunity to speak to your children in a way that you probably may not even have time to sit down because you're always too tired, you're always too busy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes I take an opportunity when I'm counseling. You know, there are some high moments when I have to talk to Mwanida as a father in a very intense moments.
Yeah.
I take that opportunity and make sure the kids watch. They can pick one or two things as well. You know, and those are opportunities for education. You know, for teaching kids on how to live a morally upright life, and how not to be reckless. You know, and that's what has put a character called Mwanida in that particular place. Reckless, not putting value on yourself, you know, those are lessons. And so those are lessons that...
Okay, so I want you to just go in the voice of Albert.
The voice of Albert.
And then speak to that young girl who doesn't have the confidence. They seem like they have no direction and they don't have a goal. They don't know why they have to wake up tomorrow.
There isn't a big difference between Albert and Dr. Chitangala in terms of voice.
Yeah.
But in terms of the looks on the face, the character, and the tensed body and everything, yes, there is a difference.
Yeah.
But in terms of voice, I keep the same. I keep the same voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So can we send a message to that young lady, young boy who doesn't know? They don't have anything planned for their life. They just want to wake up, and then always they are finding themselves in situationships and other issues. Just that message that you'd have to send.
Young man, listen very carefully. Time and chance happens to everyone. When your friend is doing better today, don't start competing with them. Tomorrow, your chance is coming. And don't give up just because things are not working or going your way today. No. As you see me, I once walked on foot going to school. Up to grade 8. That's when I tested shoes. But now, I think I've got more than 30 pairs of shoes. You can also do it.
Awesome. So that is an interesting message that you have to share, not only for yourself, with others, that you have what it takes. Dear listener, this is Nkani Zatu, the place where we share indigenous stories that are meant to inspire us and appreciate who we are as Africans and Zambians, and just as humanity, that we have what it takes and we have our own history. We do everything, culture, our own history, as well as discuss matters pertaining to publishing, especially that this podcast is brought to you courtesy of Software Publishers. With the message that I wanted almost to say Albert Chitangala put up, Software Publishers has actually gifted him this book, and you can just see the quality of what is produced, living the plan, so that he could get more insights, so that when it goes back on the screen, he's going to share some of the insights that you have what it takes to live your plan. Yeah, for you.
Thank you. Thank you. It looks professionally done. I look forward to reading it, Living the Plan, Culture the Youth Today for a Better Tomorrow. Am I allowed to allow my children to read it as well?
Sure. Yeah, it's basically meant for children and also parents for children that make the sound decisions for their lives.
I hope it breaks the barriers as well, because sometimes as parents you find it very difficult to talk to children on certain things.
But it's neutral. It gives a balance that you could have a conversation with somebody who is 10 years.
Yeah.
Just making their decision.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So Well, we had just done the first part appreciating the journey, and now Dr. Chitangala, Bashi Mwanida got to back to acting, and he has given us insight that it's actually not the first time. But quickly, we switch. Doctor, the CEO, OIDC.
Yeah.
So we just appreciate a bit of your journey, because it's very fascinating to see this person in one space. Of course, they are acting. The other side, they are professional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the trainings that you have given us from University of Zambia. And recently, you got is the master's.
Well, learning doesn't stop.
So just give us a little bit on how it began and what OIDC is about.
First and foremost, just in terms of work generally, how do I find myself into the sports sector? I began work in public health. When I finished my first degree, I was managing HIV programs. Later on, managing all the CRES or ministries treatment centers across the country, and these are centers which were treating people with HIV. Giving them free ARVs then. I think they're still giving them for free. I worked there as one in charge of the project director, for 14 years. Still in public health. I had a master's degree in public health then, and a master of science in project management, and a few other things. Then I moved when I was moving, I got a doctorate. Then I moved to Society for Family Health, which I think the producers then of Maximum Condoms, Chlorine, and all these health products, as director of marketing. And excuse me.
That's okay.
Director of marketing and communication. So I worked there for almost 2 years. Then I quit. I went to YMCA. YMCA Zambia has a national office, not as a district office, because for YMCA, every district has its own office, yes. As a national office, as executive director. Reporting to the one in charge of YMCA in Africa, who was based in Nairobi. I didn't work for a long time, but that was my first experience of managing sport and integrating it into youth programs. Okay. So when I quit, for just about a month or less, a week or less, a year or less, I quit, and I said, let me just do things on my own. Then there was an advert about a sports center looking for a director. I said, no, the description of a job sounds like what I was doing at YMCA. Let me apply. I don't know which center this is because I didn't mention. Yeah. I applied and I went for interviews. I found people big in sports lining up for their job.
The opportunity.
I didn't want to feel intimidated. I'm sure there's a reason why these guys have called me for these interviews. Did the first interview, which was like very competitive. Second interview, I think I only saw myself. I'm sure they were also interviewing other people. And that's when I came to know that, it's OIDC. That's when I started researching now about OIDC. I didn't know much about OIDC. I even came here to interview some people about what's going on so that when I go for my next interview, I can say something about the institution. Anyway, fast forward, that's how I got the job. Came here as Chief Executive Officer. I reported on the 1st of April, 2018. So in the next 5 months, less than 5 months, I'll be 6 years old at OIDC.
Oh, great.
Yes, it's a different sector. It's 100% sport. It's not like YMCA, which was maybe a small percentage of sport and a few other things. It's 100% sports, 100% sports equipment. So everything you do has to center around sport, and you have to learn to handle your stakeholders. The stakeholders are sports federations who may not work the way you want them to work. They will have their own work culture. So you need to know how to handle them and how to relate yourself to them. In some cases, it could be a very stressing job, but this is what all CEO jobs are. There isn't a simple CEO job anywhere in the world. They're all stressing, just have to learn how to manage the stress.
Okay, so are you doing any sports yourself to relieve some stress? And those you're talking about, you always have to get stressed.
Yes, I've got so many ways I relieve my stress. By the way, I'm an introvert. I don't know if you can believe that. Maybe that's one of the lies I should have told you, that I'm an extrovert. You are going to believe that. But I'm an introvert. Outside in public, I don't have a very active social life, no. Not just because I'm known because of TV. That has even made it worse. Because I know everywhere I go, you're attracting
We want to take selfies with you.
That's the thing. It makes the situation even more difficult. But you can't just keep staying in the house. So anyway, I don't really go out that much. Okay. Not because I don't want to meet with people who know me from TV. No, I just don't go out. But I do have ways and means of how I socialize. I've got friends, I've got circles who I mingle with, and that's where.
But you drink?
Drinking what? Some water.
Some water?
No, I don't. I don't.
Okay.
But I socialize among people I'm comfortable with. Yes. So that's one way of managing my stress. I exercise a lot. I used to be a very active karateka, so that was correct. But at my age, we just keep fit. We still have some skills within us that we can use to defend ourselves. But I'm not an active karateka right now. I also sit down to write film stories, which I want to produce myself. That's one way of managing the stress, to do something away from your usual stressor. That it helps to manage your stress. I don't have enough leave days, because most leave days I spend them acting on Mpali, which is also a stress reliever, because it's a different job from here. You can imagine, you go for work, you report, they give you a script, this is your script, you go through 5-10 minutes, are you ready? Yes, cameras ready, action, and you think you've done a good job with the person you're sharing the set with, you do some high fives. That makes you feel nice, especially when you can watch yourself and say, hey, I did a good job here. And then you get some messages from people on Facebook and also on phone. People know you did a very good job there. That helps you to feel good about yourself, not always just some depressing messages. So that's how I exercise. I think I mentioned that I run. I've got a mini gym at home. I do exercise to manage my stress levels in these offices.
I would love you one day to come and join you.
You are
at the home gym.
You're welcome. Do you exercise?
Yes, I do.
But just for fitness, right?
For fitness.
You don't want to have. I used to have a nice chest and six-pack when I was young. I still have my thick arms from my youthful days of karate training.
That's nice, but so of course I know it's a lifestyle for some people. Like, okay, you need to have.
But we need to start.
Being fit.
That's very important. Especially that we eat food that is very fattening. Because our diets are principally 50% carbohydrates. If you look at the shima, the bread and everything we eat, so that needs to be bent, so you don't get into problems, diabetes and high blood pressure.
Okay. Talking about issues of disease and also the law of sport, may just look at what is it that OIDC is doing in terms of encouraging community education around keeping fit. And as you also comment, you also try to, how are you doing the talent development? I know our ladies, the Cocoa Queens, and 4 of them are been listed to receive among the recipients of the awards for CAF Awards of the Year, and our Queens is a team of, among the team of the year candidates. So how are you seeing OIDC? What has been your role towards what success we are seeing in this area?
I think you've asked maybe 3 or 4 questions. Wow.
So let me see. I want us to now relax and take water.
I can remember what the first one. The first one, of course, is how are we contributing to encouraging communities in being active?
Yes.
So we do 2 things at OIDC in terms of sports programs. There's sports development and sports for development. Under sports development, that's where we have talent identification programs. We run mass participation programs where we sieve and pick talent, and then we grow it, and then we submit it to the sports federations. For me, when I say sport, it's way beyond the football. Okay, it's beyond just football. We're talking about taekwondo, karate, boxing, judo, basketball, netball, volleyball, beach volleyball, yes, soccer, yes, badminton, indoor hockey, name it, swimming. Okay, so we have sports development programs where we actually have put coaches on our payroll, not like a salary, but just an allowance. They come every day to train in different sports activity, to train young people. When we see that this one is ripe, from as young as 12 years, this one is ripe, we give them fees. Is it a basketball federation? Is it a football federation? Is it a handball federation? We hand them over. Then the federation can introduce them to professional clubs, and then they can potentially be a candidate for national team appointment. Okay, that's sports development. That's standardification. It's a long pathway from just mass participation to them being able to appreciate sport, being able to compete, and being able to live the sport. Yeah, and then the other part is sports for development. So using sport for development. So we can use sports to encourage active lifestyles. You can use sport to encourage people to exercise. We use sport to encourage people to go back to school. We can use sport to help prevent HIV transmission and all those things. So we do those, and we have a program funded by a gentleman called Mr. Coin Toolings. He's based in Belgium. We call it the Toolings Youth Sports Challenge. Through that challenge, we have opportunity of educating people, the community members, the schools around on OVEP, including a bit of funding from IOC. OVEP is the Olympic Values Education Program. It's beyond just winning a medal. It's developing a character in somebody. It's developing someone to be a useful and productive citizen, a respectable person, a team player, somebody who values life and values lives of other people. This is what we are doing as a OIDC. There's another question I can very proudly say. Yeah. There aren't many athletes in Zambia who are active right now who have never benefited from OIDC, one way or the other. We can name them, we can list them. As long as it's an Olympic sport, they have benefited from OIDC in one way or the other. All of them. Okay? And that's our contribution. We can actually, if we sit proper and do a nice research, we can actually tell you that one who is acting, playing there, that one who's playing football in the women's team, that one who's playing football in the men's team, that one in the national team of basketball, in volleyball, in what? They have been at OIDC as beneficiaries of what we do.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's interesting. You have answered all my questions. Mm-hmm. You did well to punch them, and so that we get the response that is disturbed and interrupted, as it were. So just quickly, just as we were looking at your journey into acting.
Yeah.
You're looking around storytelling. When you were growing up, some of us, we had the privilege coming from the northern side where you would sit with grandparents and others. They are telling you Tushimi and others. Do you, aside the acting side, are you doing anything to do with telling stories, doing mentorships? I can officially announce here, I've never announced this to anyone, that I'm also preparing myself to be a producer of dramatized stories, and we have already written quite a bunch of them. When I say we, together with my team and myself, of course, as a visionary, behind the stories and creator of these stories, we do that, and we've taken that as an opportunity, given now the status I've acquired through my appearance on TV, that if I start producing, chances are that people can believe and listen to you because they know you. Yeah. So yes, I'm getting into storytelling, and this is storytelling that is built on experience, number one. Yeah. Also built on my passion for my education and my experience in life. What is it that I want to, what changes do I want to see in the community, things like that. So ranging from leadership to human stories, to empowerment and all this, the JBV, name it. We have put them into stories that are captivating, and that will keep you, if you are not strong, crying at the end of every episode.
this is what we are doing. Yes, if we want, we can tell a story of a Karuru and a hyena managing to marry a princess when human beings failed. No, we don't. We are not going to tell those stories. Some of them may not even be. They are there just to keep the family together and listen to stories, but not in some of them. Some of them are very educational. Some of them are just there to sit. Oh, let's go and listen to a story of how a rabbit managed to marry a human princess. But we do have stories that are real and people can relate to and people can benefit from. Those are the stories. Some of them are imaginary, but very educative. Some of them are lived experiences. This is what we are doing. At my age, that's the best I can do. Because of my kind of work I do, I may not even have enough time to write a book and sit down and sell it or distribute to people, but at least I can write a script because it's falling within what I love doing. It's also storytelling. You can tell a story via a book. You can tell a story through a TV program. Like even what you are doing here, we are also telling stories. It's easier, and also it depends on where your passion is. My passion is in media, it's on screen. And that's where we think already working at YDC has given me so many stories about how you can develop a career or a character just using sport. How you can achieve something using sport. There's so many boundaries and the roadblocks that lead to finally somebody say, I'm successful, I'm financially independent, I'm this independent. The roadblocks on the way. The question is, how can this lifestyle help you to get across those roadblocks? Sport is one of them. Education is one of them. And telling captivating stories that are believable, but at the same entertaining and funny is one way of encouraging young people.
Well, you can't put it better, because this is what Nkaniza is about. It's about storytelling, and these stories have to be captivating, educative, as well as in the process of entertaining, it changes people and basically driving towards mindset change. And this is all about also building one's identity and developing that ground that, okay, I know who I am and I know what I want to become, as it were. So we believe as storytelling is a powerful tool that has to connect people and then deeply touch their emotions. And I like the vision that you are putting out, that we are going about mentoring people and sharing the stories through the production that is being anticipated. And we look forward to those interesting stories. Now, using Mpali and a few local currently happening telenovas, what is your take on the future of storytelling in Zambia and Africa?
By the way, the first appearance on Zambia's Magic for me wasn't Mpali. It was Makofi. So I was in season 1 and season 2 as a retired commando lieutenant. That's where my karate skills came to life. My old age, I was like, please don't give me these roles anymore.
Yeah,
because I
wanted to ask that in Mpali, I wanted to see you use your karate on Nguzu.
No, but anyway, when you are teaching martial arts, we are told not to use it to its fullest. So somebody hasn't done that before. But Mr. Nguzu, when he was young, Mr. Mwanida, when he was young, he was a boxer. I don't know if you see how he does his hooks. That's coming from the ring. He has boxing training. Yeah, but anyway, back to your question. So from Makofi, I went to Mpali. Mpali on the side, I also featured on Mongoma before it went off the screen. The future of this industry in Zambia is, we are smiling when we look at where we are going. Okay, at the same time, we are frowning. I'll tell you why. First and foremost, we all remember the late 90s, the early 2000s, when our markets were flooded by DVDs from Nigeria. Mission Impossible, this, that, Suicide Mission. And everyone wanted to have a DVD player so they can play the latest film from Nigeria.
True story.
Some of them you're watching, even each microphone comes into the shot. They remove. You remember those? Sound bad. Sometimes they were just using sound from the camera. but we still bought. Nigeria, we laughed at them, but they were moving. Look at where they are now. They are way miles ahead of us, but we love where we are. We embraced the opportunity. We tried, the industry tried, those who were active tried, until we have an opportunity where people can get even employed and get paid through Zambia's magic. Now, through that we can smile. But there aren't many production houses which are on TV in Zambia's magic and getting money out of their works. No. And Zambians still have not come to appreciate that when a Zambian makes a movie, they should fill up that cinema. Very few are going there. We still need to develop on that. Secondly, the broadcasting houses in Zambia. We have tens and tens and tens of television stations in Zambia, but they're not buying local content. They're getting free content from outside the country. Who wants to watch that? They need to start buying local content. They need to start competing with Zambia's magic, so that if I don't manage to get on Zambia's magic because they are fully booked, they have productions, they don't have any slot, I should go to the street corner television and get my production bought there. And then my production, the cast and crew can get salaries for as long as that production is on air. That's where we need to go to. ZNBC and all these private entities should start buying content. It's their job to look for marketers, to look for sponsors. They go to corporates and then they place adverts in that. They can make money out of that. Besides, a good production is going to bring viewership. Therefore, it's going to bring subscription to that TV channel. And you get your money from subscription. Yeah.
Okay, now you have just made the comment on us importing content and bringing it. In your own opinion, are we owning our narrative? Are we the ones telling the story, or we are dancing to who has the biggest money to offer for these stories that we have seen go on television and especially on these bigger platforms, seemingly drawing the attention and traffic?
We are, like I said, we are happy to have these productions. We are happy to have our productions be seen in Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda, Malawi, and all the surrounding countries in Africa. But the fact is, majority of those productions you are seeing, and I'm not ashamed to say this because it's the truth, are commissioned products.
Yeah.
What that means is this channel will pay me 100 kwacha for what I've produced. And they will own it. They will own the production. Meaning anything else beyond the episodes I produced, they will continue producing and writing according to what they want. So it's no longer my production. As long as it's commissioned, it's not my production. I'm just hired to produce for them. I have no say where the story should go. I have no say who should be the main character. It's them. It's commissioned. But if we start going the licensed way, where the money is little, but at least we own the narrative, we own the direction of the story, that would help us.
Okay, so currently, of the three options in Zambia, the commissioned is dominant than the licensing.
Yeah, because the licensing is similar to leasing, but commissioning is dominant because that's where most money is.
Okay.
Because even me, to be honest with you, if I'm just starting to produce, I would rather hit the ground running by getting
a commission
so that I can get at least a bigger chunk of money and can buy some equipment so that next time I make a movie or a series, I can license it. When they are done broadcasting, they bring it back to me. Then I go to another country, license it as well. It's mine. I go to Netflix, it's mine, license it. But I can do nothing if it's commissioned.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, dear listener and viewer, the terminology is being used there. They sound technical. But basically, what it means from what Dr. submitted, when it's commissioned, it means you give the rights to the channel that is going to be airing, and they start controlling, but they give you the money, and then they start telling you which direction they want their story to go based on their feedback. So it might not be like going your way, and they may introduce in other elements that are suiting what they want to see on their screen. But when it comes to licensing, is where you produce by yourself and then you take to them, and then, as Zaya has put it, especially if you maintain your rights, you can't sell it even to different channels depending on the clauses that in your contracts. That is a lot of education coming through our interaction. Now, how are you balancing between the acting and sport? Of course, you shared a little bit of this, and the demanding part, and just somebody to just say, okay, is it possible? And talk to also parents who tell the child, concentrate on the physics, mathematics, and science, and become an engineer. Forget about acting and sports, and maybe as you respond to the balancing of that.
Yeah, it's an act that needs good balancing, but I'm happy that the role I have is not a full-time role. I'm not a full-time actor, I'm a part-time actor. And so if they want, they can make that role full-time, but I'm not available to do that. It's a very big role, as you know. It can actually fit to be full-time. But because I've got a job here, people wonder, some people even say or insinuate that, this is suffering because I'm concentrating on acting. No, I'm not. You find me here every day when you want to find me. When I go to act, you will not know. I'll get leave day when I know I don't have an appointment. Today, you've seen it yourself. How many appointments did I have before yours? I expected you at 10:30, but when you came earlier, I already had 2-3 other appointments before you. So if I get a leave day, which I'm entitled to go and sleep the whole day if I want, or to go hunting, or to go to the farm, or to go acting. You understand, eh? And when I go, my producer knows when Fredrick comes, everything else we have kept for him pending in the past 2 weeks must be done on that day. That's why when you watch me with this beard. If I appear today with this beard the way it looks, I'll look the same tomorrow. I'll look the same the other day. I'll look the same the other day. Why? I shot on the same day. Different clothes. But I shot on the same day. That's what people don't understand. They think I go to act every day they see me on TV. No, some of those things I shot them on the same day from 8, sometimes up to the night. Yeah. So how would I encourage someone to go to school? And this is what parents make a mistake, where they make a mistake. You know that your child, in terms of academic prowess, they are not as gifted as their friend.
Yeah.
Or you also know that your child, in terms of sport, they don't have the skill to do sport.
Yeah.
But you're forcing them just because you used to be a sports person.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. We need to understand our children. Where is our child's strength? My firstborn son was very good at football. Extremely good. But he was a small stature. Very small, even shorter than me. And I'm like, son, we're not going anywhere. Let's look at something else you can do. He understood. And now he has developed a passion for something else which he's enjoying right now. That's what we need to. If studying physics, chemistry, biology is okay. You can become an engineer, you can become a medical doctor, it's okay. You can even grow up and become establish a construction company because an engineer, that's fine. Or you can get employment as an engineer, you can get a hospital on your way as a medical doctor, that's fine. But if a child is not good at those subjects, don't force them to crack their heads. Maybe they are good at operating a camera. Yeah, because I don't need to get an A+ in physics for me to learn how to use a camera. No, I don't need that. We need to understand our children. It's the same thing with his sport. If your child, by the way, sports career is a short career.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? From late teenagers to 35, you are done. You are done. So if you are very good at sports, especially football, because that's where most money is, and you can start at the age of 17, get professional, get your money like Patson Daka is getting his money. By the time you are retiring, you must be a fool to be broke 10 years later. Yeah, you must have made your money, Here is somebody who never went to university, but they're making it. It doesn't mean you need to go and get a degree to succeed. No. I may not have the time and the brain for that, but I've got the brain to use my leg. We need to understand our children. What is their gifting? Where is their potential? And help them to move that direction. But they should at least receive some education for them to interpret those contracts. Yeah.
Awesome things. I will not let you go to just answer this question. Is there any part in your acting as Albert that you found in a script that it did match with your real life?
I think these guys were very clever. When people meet me driving a good car,
Yeah.
they were like, "Oh, so in real life you are rich." I'm not. I'm just a driver. I'm not rich. But when they see me on news, like maybe on ZNBC TV, talking about sport and all these things,
Yeah.
Dr. Fredrick Chitangala, CEO, or I this one. So he's rich in real life. And I wish I was Albert.
Yeah.
Because Albert is thinking rich. He doesn't care what he dresses. He can come out in a small, simple t-shirt, go to the office, making his money, go home.
Yeah.
You know? But the fact is, I mean, this is a parent who really wants to be impactful to his daughter, but he has not been given a chance. And that also teaches me something on how I should relate to my own children. On the other side, I also learn a lot from this character in terms of being persistent on what you want to do as a businessman, making the money and all those things. We learn a lot from what we do. I pity Mr. Gudu. I don't know what Mr. Gudu learns from being a polygamist. When he actually was one wife in real life who is a pastor and is acting as a polygamist. Yeah, there are moments when you think this. I think this was written for me. They know who I am, and I can deliver it as a person, as me.
Okay.
You know, not as a character. There are always those moments.
Have you had a situation, might be you or somebody closer to you, dealing with having the child elsewhere and they have no access to the child?
No. So that was the lie I told you. I don't have 2 children. But the truth is, I've got 5 children. Yes, I have had those situations. I think those are very common situations where somebody, but the most common is where I remember I told you I was working for an HIV treatment center.
Yes.
I also trained as a psychosocial counselor after my degree. One of my cases was somebody who came and say, "Can you help me trace my father? My name is this." I started doing my research after that. I found where that person works. I went to them. And this person says, "Look, yes, that's definitely my child. But when the mother was pregnant by me, the family barred me never ever to see their daughter, whether in their pregnancy or even after delivery. And this child is 20 years. So I don't want to see this child because I don't know what will happen to me." That's another example. Other examples are where women just tell you it's not your child, but on to tell you it's your child when the child is 25. Mwiza and Albert. Other examples is they just deny you access to the child. You have tried to find the child, but they can't.
Well, dear viewer and listener, there, courtesy of Software Publishers, Kanizatu is about giving the narrative of our real stories and also entertaining you as well as educating you on things that speak to our identity and our culture. Software Publishers, this is a reading publisher that is writing and documenting indigenous stories that you need to look out to and publish that story. It's valid. Dr. Chitangala, as we come down towards the end, as you say your goodbyes, what one question would you love me that we expected to be asked and I didn't ask? And you give the answer.
What does your wife feel about you acting as a boyfriend, former boyfriend to Mwiza, especially when scenes look of a romantic nature?
Yeah.
That question you didn't ask.
And that's it.
I even know there was a scene where there was on screen there was kissing, but of course we know how to do it in acting. But in your mind there was kissing. So how does my wife feel like? So this is what happens when a script is ready, and I'm there. They'll send me a script a day or two before. I don't have time to read because of what I have. Usually we just go on set, read, start. And I read through so that in case there's something I need to prepare my wife for, and I see that there's a romantic side of it, I'll tell her, "Oh, sweetie, look, this script I'm going to act tomorrow has got this and this and this and this and this. Just telling you in advance so that when you see it, you shouldn't think we just decided to do it on set.
Yeah.
So it's okay, I understand, and in most cases she's okay. She knows. I used to be a celebrity in my own church before even TV knew.
Yeah.
My character name was Chanda the Great. She knows where I'm coming from. She saw me on stage in church doing theater.
Yeah.
So she knows that it's just simply nothing but acting. Yeah.
Fred, we need that trust. And your final word on the future of storytelling in Zambia and the entire world.
I think that if we need to preserve our culture, we shouldn't leave it to one sector. If we have a talent in storytelling, let's do that. Let's keep our culture. Let's keep our experiences and our lives in written. It could be on digital media, could be on books, could be on plays, on theater. Let's get writing, because this is about to be the biggest employer in Zambia.
Nkanizatu, there you have it, Doctor. As you are writing your story and hoping to get a book to be published, hear from us. Every guest who comes on Nkanizatu, they are gifted a notebook, because we care about documenting and writing those stories. Thank you very much for sharing your inspiring journey and just bring out that best character that people have fallen in love with on Mpali on set, and there's also many massive things that we are doing at OYDC. This has been Sidney Mponda on Nkanizatu. Nkanizatu is brought to you, powered by Software Publishers. And we invite you as a listener and viewer to subscribe to especially our YouTube channel, so that you can be part of interesting conversation and inspiring episodes that we bring to you, so that we keep telling our story and promoting our own culture, identity, discussing all things publishing and mindset change. We should own our story. For now, it's bye.